Greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings. Before we get into this word, we must acknowledge our heavenly Father Yahweh through His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai for allowing this word to come out. I hope you sincere brothers and sisters are truly edified by today's word. And I don't have a title for this word. We're just going to go in the spirit. But what I want to talk about today is the loss of my grandson. I lost my grandson. The Lord allowed me to have two grandsons, 6 months year old grandson, and then my most recent grandson, which was 3 weeks old yesterday. So I lost my 3 week old grandson suddenly yesterday. So this is going to be a very sobering word. And anybody out there that have lost a child or a grandchild, I hope that you guys are able to find comfort in this word. When it comes to death, it's not a matter of if we're going to die. It's a matter of when we're going to die. And from the time you're born until the time the Lord decides to take you from this earth, we have to make the best of that time. I always say life is really short. I say it all the time because life is really short. And yesterday, what I experienced, I wouldn't wish it on an enemy. I really wouldn't. That to me was probably the hardest experience, man, I've ever dealt with. Both of my daughters just had sons, and as a father, to see your child hurting and in such pain, it was almost like I was just felt helpless. So I want to do this word because I know it's not only myself that's going through this. It's many others are currently going through this or have went through this. And I hope that I can provide a word of comfort, a word of encouragement, okay, a word of faith, a word of confidence, knowing that the Lord, at the end of the day, is who we must serve, and that's Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Okay? What you see on the screen is what it looks like when you're dealing with grieving, when you're dealing with mourning, when you're sad, when you're hurt. And metaphorically speaking, this is what I looked like yesterday and what I'm looking like currently. Okay? But as we get into this word, we have to understand, man, that let's just get into this word. Exodus 13:2, it reads, "Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever opened the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine." So we have to understand when it comes to a firstborn child, a firstborn male child, it belongs to the Lord. So my grandson from my youngest daughter, okay, he belonged to the Lord. So the Lord just came back and got possession of what was his. And spiritually, that's how you have to look at that. But from a worldly perspective, that will go over people's heads. But spiritually, my grandson, the Lord just came back and got what was his. You see? It's a cold-blooded game, man. It's a cold-blooded world. And we have to understand that things happen in life, and when they happen, try to learn from them, and again, try to get close as you can to the Lord, especially in time of triumph and time of adversity, um, time of death, sadness, lostness, man. In Romans 14:8, it says, "For whether we live unto the Lord, who we know as Yahweh Shai. And whether we die unto the Lord, who is Yahweh Shai. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's." See that? So life is really short. Life is fragile, man. And we have to put things in perspective. Okay? We cannot be caught up in the worldly philosophy of living. We have to be in commune with the Lord and in tune with the Lord, and try to get as close as you can to the Lord and be as obedient as you can. At the same time, fearing Him. And Ecclesiastes 3 verse 2, it reads, "A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted." So there is a time we'll be born, a season where we'll be born, and there's a season when we die. That's just what comes with life. No matter who you are, all rules apply. Same rules apply to everyone. Again, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, closing out the point in verse 2. "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." Verse 2, "A time to be born and a time to die." Brothers and sisters, understand that. There's a season. We all live in seasons. Seasons we are born, and it will be a season we're going to die. It's not if, it's just a matter of when. You see? This is a very, very trying time for me. It's almost like I'm living in a nightmare, waiting to wake up from it. And it's extremely tough. Extremely tough, man. And being raising two daughters, man, and always wanting to be the fixer of whatever's going on, the protector, the one that can make things right. For the first time yesterday, I was out of my jurisdiction in regards to being able to have the answers, being able to be the protector, being able to be the provider. Yesterday, it was solely about turning to the Lord. It was all about turning to the Lord. What I experienced yesterday, what I witnessed yesterday, I wouldn't wish it on the enemy, man. I wouldn't wish it on the enemy. I want to come out with a few comforting scriptures, man, and I hope that, you sincere brothers and sisters are really truly edified, man, by this word. We're going to come to you in Psalms 34 and 18. It's going to be 4 scriptures I'm going to come out with as I get ready to close out this word. In Psalms 34, verse 18, and it reads, "The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit," a crushed spirit. And my family and myself, we are definitely dealing with spirit of broken heart, spirit of being crushed in the spirit, man. Very, 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 very trying time, challenging time. But it's also a time where we embrace the Lord and just love on Him as much as we can, turn to Him and allow Him to guide us in the right direction. Okay, you don't run away from death, you deal with it. And when death comes, it's an automatic sign. It's time for you to get the closest as you can to the Lord. In Psalms 143 verse 3, and it reads, He healeth the broken in heart and binded up their wounds. See that? That's the beauty in the Lord, man. He healeth the broken in heart. And trust me, as a family, we are broken, man. This is a very, very, very challenging time for me. And I'm going to tell you, man, all I can do is try to take this thing day by day because, my child has has a hell of a journey of mourning and grieving ahead of her, and me being the father, the parent that she only really deal with. It's my spiritual leadership, my fathering as a father and being a spiritual man. It's really going to come into play with how I execute a plan to guide my daughter in the direction of where the Lord can really sup with her, commune with her, and really guide her, I just did a lesson, I think last week, where it was talking about allow the Lord to guide your footsteps. And I got to navigate that for my own child, for the Lord to guide her footsteps in this trying time, man. In John 14:1, it reads, Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in Yahweh, believe also in me, who is Yahushua. Yeah, man. It's tough, man. It's tough. We're going to close it out in Revelation 21, verse 4. And it reads, And God, who we know as Yahweh, shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. When you analyze Revelations 21 and 4, as we get ready to close it out, let's go through this one more time. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Okay? So, right away, man, your emotional roller coaster of a ride, that pain and suffering of hurt and that crying, the Lord is going to wipe that away. And it says, and there shall be no more death. See, that's looking at the fact that we're going to be in a better place than we are today. The Lord going to have us in a way better place where we ain't got to deal with this thing called death. It says, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. So that pain and suffering and that sorrow and the crying, man, it's going to come a time, man, we ain't going to have to deal with this. But we're not in that time right now. And it says, for former things are passed away, man. Again, man, I hope you sincere brothers and sisters were truly, truly edified by this word. My heart goes out to anybody that have lost a child or a grandchild. And I'm there with you, man. I'm there. This has been, like I said, like a nightmare that I wish I could just wake up out of and realize it was just a nightmare, man. But this is reality, and it's tough. But in a time like this is when you really lean on the Lord. You turn to the Lord and try to be as obedient, and you fear him like no other. Because it come a time where you're going to be able to separate the lie from the jive. And when you lose a loved one, when you lose a child, when you lose a grandchild, especially an infant grandchild, 3 weeks old, that should really, really, really make you want to get closer to the Lord and commune with him. Shalom.